These Honda factory doors weigh 27.5 kilos. There's two of them on this Civic. I've been carrying them around racing for the last 14 years. It's time to add some lightness. I'm going to make new carbon fibre doors without vacuum bagging to show you that you can do this job just with hand layup if that's what you want to do. The two doors will be different. The passenger side, unused, will be mega lightweight, but the driver's door will have some super strengthening tricks of mine that will actually mean that it will meet the new FIA side impact standards. I'll mould the doors and the inner frames, but there'll be virtually no sculpting, just a bit of blanking off to do. So this job is a fairly straightforward one. Basically a matter of making fiberglass moulds and then black copies to go on the car. Although this unused passenger door doesn't need a smooth internal safety skin, it does still need a partial internal door frame. The easiest way to attach this door to my race car when I reproduce it is to use the factory hinges and door catches. And the easiest way to mount them to this door is to copy the factory internal frame, not the whole thing, not all this stuff that goes over the where the window comes down, but just partially around the edges. And this frame will also give rigidity to my thin lightweight door. You can see how I blanked off the mounting holes for the locks with tape over the top and on the inside, and the mounting holes for the bolts I've filled with potter's clay, and I've left those indents there because that will show me exactly where to put the screws. And along the bottom edge here I've filled in a ridge with clay. This has been waxed and had a coat of PVA release. And you can see the same detailed work up the other end, where I've used tape to mount to seal over the holes where the door steady arm goes, and those bolt holes for the hinges. I'll be able to find those after I've moulded the door. This is ready now for partial moulding. Now I need to make the mould for the outside of this passenger door for my race car. And one advantage in not using vacuum bagging for a job like this is that your moulds are much easier to make. Good vacuum bagging technique would require a flange like this to be added all the way around the outside of the door to give you a surface to attach your tacky tape and your plastic bagging. But not having to do that, because I'm not using vacuum bagging, means I can just mould straight up to the edge of this door. I've got a little bit of blanking off to do here where the door handle's going to go. I'm going to lay right over the glass and over the rubber. I don't know whether you noticed or not, but when I made the mould for this inner door frame, I moulded the flange that takes the rear view mirror and I added a tab onto the glass. The reason that I did that was to give myself two good points for the two halves to lock together and line up on the top. Most guys, when they're going to mould a door like this, would not have the glass in place, but when you do that you end up having to mould the door frame, which ends up being a real pain in the butt. It's easier to have the glass here and go straight up the door skin and over the glass and around the top edge of the door frame. That also results in your mould being a lot stronger and keeping its shape around here, because the bane of making fiberglass doors is the fiberglass, when it cures, can twist, and I think most people have bought a fiberglass car part that just doesn't fit because it's moved after it's made. By doing it that way, I'm more likely to avoid the problems of the door twisting after it's made and to retain that perfect shape of the door. Two alternatives to moulding the top of a door frame. One is to cut the top off the steel door, just the frame, and lengthen it about so long, making little legs, and then you can lay that into your door, and you just lay up the bottom half of the door. The other way, instead of moulding the top, is to just bend up some, say, about 8mm steel rod, bend it to the shape, and just weld washers on the inside of your frame where you need to bolt your Lexan windows. This is a good idea where you've got a car door where there is no top frame and just the glass, and that won't really work in this setup because the Lexan will just flop all over the place. So you just bend up a frame to the shape of the door opening and then lay that into the door as you're making it.